longueur des années, j'étais persuadé que j'allais me faire bouffer par de bien tristes pensées, mais j'ai rencontré Dorothée. Elle m'a pris la main, j'ai compris soudain ce que ça voulait dire d'aimer.
That was Dorothée by French singer-songwriter Baptiste W. Hamon, mixing powerful texts in French with an American country music twang. He's been compared to Bonnie Prince Billy, Nick Drake, Phil Ochs, and even Leonard Cohen. He recently released a third album. It's called Jusqu'à la lumière, 10 tracks that take you on a dreamlike and nostalgic journey. And he joins me in the studio. Welcome to France 24.
Thanks for inviting me.
And congratulations for your third album, Jusqu'à la lumière. Now, tell us more about the title. Jusqu'à la lumière can translate as until the light.
Yeah, I wanted an album that would be full of hope and light. My music is pretty melancholic, but I wanted to put that taste of hope and light in it. So that's why I gave the...
Is it like the light at the end of the tunnel coming out of a dark
period?
period?
Kind of. There is always light after whatever wrong happens in life. There is light at the end of it.
So a very positive message here. What I love about your music is it's quite stripped down in terms of instrumentation, and the focus is really on your guitar playing and on your texts. And would you say that you're following in somewhat of a tradition of chanson française with this album?
Yes, I think so. So I have two main inspirations. It would be chanson française and American folk music. And the things I like in both genres are the fact that it's all about the lyrics, or it's mostly about the lyrics. So the arrangements are very important, but they have to be... There doesn't have to be too many instruments, because what I think is important is the voice and what I say.
So yeah, it's like the vocals almost, well, the text almost becomes an instrument.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And the voice, of course.
Absolutely. Well, let's listen to an extract from your album. It's called Boire un coup. Take a listen.
Tu m'embêtes encore pour ça. Tu peux venir, ça me ferait plaisir, je crois. Un petit verre de rien du tout. Je pars juste boire un coup. Boire un coup. Que dis-tu? Mais non, c'est pas un rendez-vous. Oh, et puis merde, je m'en fous. Je pars juste boire un coup. Non, tu n'auras pas ma joie.
So that was Boire un coup off Baptiste W. Hamon's latest album. You can definitely hear the American twang in there. Also in the music video, it's the subject matter. Boire un coup is something you might hear in a Johnny Cash song. How does a French guy like you get into folk and country music?
Well, it was a bit by accident, I would say, because when I was 17 or 18 years old, I was listening to a lot of new music, and I didn't know anything about country music, but then I found about the music of a singer-songwriter from Texas called Townes Van Zandt, who is not very famous in France, but is to me one of the greatest poets of American music. And so I fell in love with his music, and something happened in me that never happened before. I felt so moved by his music that I was like, wow, this is American folk music, I want to know more about it. So I got to listen to a lot of way more important artists like Johnny Cash, or way more famous artists. And country music is still the music that moves me the most. And sometimes people ask me why. I cannot really explain, because I'm a French guy born in France, and but country music is the music that moves me the most. So.
Yeah, it vibrates on your wavelength. Now, the Anglo-Saxon influence goes beyond your songs themselves. Even in your recording process, you previously recorded an album in Nashville, Tennessee. For this album, you went all the way to Bristol, and you got to record with an incredible person, the legendary record producer John Parish. Those of you who don't know him, he's worked with notable musicians like Eels, Aldous Harding, Tracy Chapman, and of course, PJ Harvey. Tell us about that experience.
It was amazing. It was a dream forever to be able to make an album with John Parish, who is to me, one of the greatest producers on this planet. So yeah, I wanted for this third album to work with him. That was a dream, and it went pretty easily, actually, because I contacted him, I sent him an email. I know another French singer called Dominique A, who has worked with John Parish 20 years ago. So I told John that, yeah, I knew Dominique, and I'm a big fan of his work. And so would it be possible to make an album together? And he just answered pretty quickly, yes, of course. I like your stuff, and let's do that. So I went to Bristol for 10 days. It was during it was still a lockdown in the UK, so that was a kind of a interesting experience. But so yeah, we locked each other for 10 days in the studio, and I just came with 10 songs that I didn't work on any demos before. It was just me and my guitar, and we brainstormed and we just went for it. And I'm so happy with the result, because I got to see. I think John Parish is kind of a genius. So, you know, things work in his mind like step by step. He tries things, and then, okay, no, maybe let's do something different. And anyways, it's always pretty accurate what he does. And in the end, I'm very proud of this album.
Well, you can be, and the planets definitely aligned on that one. So you're really at the crossroads of several cultural influences. What I find interesting is that initially you wrote many songs in English, and then you've switched to French. And on this album, most of your songs are in French. There is a duet with Anne Brun, the Norwegian singer. Why did you decide to go back to French?
Because so at first I was as I was listening mostly to American music, naturally when I was writing songs, the words would come in English, and then I would realize that what I liked in those American singer-songwriters that I was listening to is the fact that they were amazing poets. And I think that it's always easier to work on a language that you control totally, which is French for me. So at some point I was like, okay, if I want to be like these American singer-songwriters, I need to write in my own language and work on the lyrics and the text and the language. And so that's why I switched to French pretty quickly. And yeah, I think I will keep on writing in French most of the time. It's interesting to write in English as well, because the languages sound differently, so you can say different things in another language. But what I like the most is working on my lyrics, and it's in French that I can do it the best, I think.
Absolutely strong lyrics in your stuff, and we're gonna move to another very strong lyricist. This is the country music singer Loretta Lynn, who passed away earlier this month, and the world of country music is still certainly mourning her. Remember, the Kentucky-born singer went from poverty and a teenage marriage to become one of country music's most celebrated stars. She had an incredible decades-long career, recording some 60 studio albums, and went on to win 3 Grammys back in 2013. Barack Obama awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the United States. Here is a short clip of perhaps her best-known track, Coal Miner's Daughter.
We were poor, but we had love. That's the one thing that Daddy made sure of. He shoveled coal to make a poor man's dollar. My daddy worked all night in the van near coal mine.
So you mentioned that country music has certainly influenced your singing and songwriting. You mentioned some singers who had influenced you. Are there any particular songs that have marked you?
Yeah, I would say that. I think the singer-songwriters that I like the most most of them are from Texas, actually, and there's a specific school of country music in Texas. They call them the outlaw country music guys. And I would say that the first song I really pay attention to the words of Townes Van Zandt is a song called Waiting Around to Die. It's a super sad song.
Great title.
Yeah, and there's an amazing video of it on YouTube where you can see Townes Van Zandt singing it in a cabin with his girlfriend, and there is like an old man at the back of it, and he starts crying in the middle of the song because of the lyrics that are so sad and powerful. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's just the power of song. That's what it does to people. And so I think, yeah, that's when I realized that I really wanted to write songs myself.
Powerful songs there. We're going to move on to some other news, this time from another powerful songwriter as well. This is the American singer-songwriter Bill Callahan. He is digitally dropping a new album, Reality, and there will be a double LP edition coming out in February. Now, not much music was teased ahead of the release, but Callahan published a robust statement saying that he wanted to make a record that addressed or reflected the current climate. I felt it was necessary to rouse people, he says, rouse their love, their kindness, their anger. So get ready to get roused, starting with this track, Coyotes.
She sleeps later and later. As she gets older.
So Bill Callahan there, coming out with a new album. Quick little backstory about you. I read that you studied glaciology back in the day, glaciers and Arctic engineering. What made you switch into music?
I don't know. I don't know. I studied in Norway for 2 years and all kinds of engineering stuff. And I had the chance to go live for a month in Svalbard.
Oh, so in the north.
Island at the very north. And it was an amazing experience. And I liked what I was doing, but then I liked writing songs better. That's why I'm here.
So maybe a little Arctic influence in your music as well. Now, we got some last news. This is about the rock legend Todd Rundgren. You might remember him from hits like Hello, It's Me and I Saw the Light. Well, he is releasing an exciting new 12-track studio album. It's called Space Force. The 74-year-old has brought together a motley crew for this diverse project, which includes features from The Roots and Rivers Cuomo, like you'll be able to hear on this track coming up. It's called Down with the Ship. We're going to leave you with that. But before we go, I want to thank my guest, Baptiste W. Hamon. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
On France 24. Be sure to check out his new album. It's called Jusqu'à la lumière. For more arts and culture news, head to our website and stay in touch on social media. Stay tuned for France 24. More news is coming up right after this.
Out on the Indian Ocean with a pirate crew. We be 27 days out on Mogadishu. Now there's something going wrong. We got red skies at dawn. Can't find the captain and the lifeboat's gone. We're going down with the ship.